It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, July 2nd. Good God almighty, Neil Young, give it to me. Keep on rocking in the free world. In 1989, Neil was on tour in the Pacific Northwest, and his band, Crazy Horse, were preparing to go play a gig in Russia for a cultural exchange. They were sending the Bolshoi Ballet to the United States, and we were sending Neil and Crazy Horse because that's how cool we are. And anyway, the guy that was putting it on took all the money in Russia and split. Total con artist, apparently. And so the gig was canceled. And Pancho Sampredo, guitarist of Crazy Horse, looked at Neil and said, well, I guess we'll just have to keep on rocking in the free world. And Neil laughed and said, I'm going to use that. Because, you know, you can't sneak a good song title past Neil Young. It's like trying to throw a fastball past Barry Bonds. It ain't going to happen.
True enough, yeah.
I'm just saying. The guy knows the song title when he hears one.
Old man.
Thank you. See, there's so many. Oh, you mean he's just old now. I got it. I see what you're saying.
No, I mean, old man. Good tune.
It's July 2nd. It's Tuesday. It's 4th of July week. And I'm counting 1, 2. Yeah, I still have 10 fingers. So far the week's going great for me. I hope it's going great for everybody out there. We have 5 things, the top 5 at 6 things you know that you need to know if you want to power up your day. First things first. These are all kind of important. Kind of. Hurricane Beryl, if you have not yet heard, touched down in the Caribbean or the Caribbean. It's one or the other. Yesterday, this is the earliest Category 5 and the first Category 5 ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin. Yeah. Grenada is getting hammered. Jamaica is up next in the path of Hurricane Beryl. Sustained winds up to 150 miles per hour. This is a life-altering, world-changing level hurricane, and it is early in the year for that. Best wishes to everybody in the path of that storm. A little closer to home, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, has approved aid for 22 Minnesota counties to help with recovery efforts from the flooding over the last few weeks. 22 counties have funding their state, tribal, and eligible local governments, certain nonprofits on a cost-sharing basis. This isn't a surprise. If anything, I'm surprised it took this long with what we've seen in the state of Minnesota over the last 3 weeks. The Minnesota Wild have announced a home opener, 10-10, baby, October 10th. Home opener against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Mark it down.
Too early.
The Blue Jackets, well, but at least it's the Blue Jackets. They finished the season with 66 points. So, you know, as opposed to kind of sucking, they really suck.
Yeah, just a lot of suck there.
Yeah, there's a lot of suck there. That's two sides of the suck puck on that game. But, you know, hope springs eternal. But, yeah, October 10th, that does feel early, doesn't it?
I just mean to be talking about the Wild. Still dealing with the mediocre Twins.
That's okay. Fair enough. Well, you know, from what is it? The bland leading the blind, or the bland and the I don't know. Hell, call it what you want. A recent Google map. Google loves to post their maps. What sort of, as it is 4th of July week, what sort of hot dog are we looking for in both Minnesota and Wisconsin? The top hot dogs by state, according to Google search engine. Minnesota's number 1 most searched hot dog. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you Wisconsin's first. Wisconsin is the Chicago-style dog, which I'm a fan of. I like those sport peppers, the cucumber, the tomato, the seasoned salt. I like it all. I'm a big fan, the relish. And so Wisconsin, you know, bordering much closer to Illinois in a sense. That makes sense. The Minnesota top searched hot dog, beef hot dog.
I guess what doesn't make sense to me is what are they searching?
I don't know, but that's all beef hot dog. I mean, at least like Korean hot dog is a top search in some states. Crescent roll hot dog is a big one. Exactly, Zep. What beef hot dog? What do you want to know? It's a hot dog made of beef.
Yeah, I just literally punched it in, and that's what came up. It's a beef hot dog. What are you Googling?
Where
Maybe
can
they
I
just Googled not spicy hot dog, like the hot dog that I can handle, and then beef hot dog popped up.
That could very well be it.
Okay, now I just punched in hot dog I can handle, and something very different just came up.
Wow.
Your picture.
How about just search hot beef near me, and then just figure it out from there.
Got it. Oh, that's right.
Our final number one on today's top 5 at 6, the Moon Jam Dance. Moon Jam Dance. Listen to me. The Moon Dance Jam Festival in Walker, Minnesota, later this month, has canceled all of their national headliners. However, the good news is the local artists are still performing, and they've yet to offer refunds if you've already purchased tickets. So if you were planning to go to Moondance to see Creed, Switchfoot, a handful of dudes from Foghat, Kansas, Blue Oyster Cult, and Sweet, or, and this is the one that really got me, on the billing for the festival, they list Journey in small letters, former lead vocalist Steve Augeri. If you were planning to see any of those artists, you are out of luck. As I said, no refunds being offered yet. Nothing against any of the artists on this bill. I'm not demeaning or laughing at any when I say whoever left of these bands. The problem is the promoters and people who put this lineup together and then are surprised when tickets don't sell, especially when general admission tickets are priced at $200. I saw that bill. God. I saw the bill, and my literal thought was $100. If you're going to go to all 3 days, $100, you could have a good time. $200 immediately was like, come on, man. No one wants to see all that for $200. So if you're going to see, it's now being billed. By the way, they changed it from Moondance Jam to Camp Moondance, which tells me they're bringing in extra mosquitoes. We shall see about that. Hey, so there's your top 5 at 6. I don't know if you've ever had a crappy seat at a baseball game. Wait until you hear about these crappy seats. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, July the 2nd. Good morning. You ever been at a ballpark, any kind of a sporting event, or really anywhere? Go see a gig, go to the theater, and you think, man, this seat is crappy. I've been there. I've been in the cheap seats before. But now the Lake County Captains, that's a high A affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians. Not quite sure what high A means. I guess it's like the best part of the worst baseball, high A. This is a team in East Lake, Ohio, outer, like the exurbs of Cleveland on Lake Erie. It's a minor league ballpark, the Classic Auto Group Park, where the Lake County Captains play. They have now introduced a new row of seats right behind home plate. And now you're saying, well, those don't sound like crappy seats. The seats themselves are toilets. A long row of toilet seats thanks to the sponsor Roto-Rooter. That's right, the Roto-Rooter toilet row right behind home plate. I love the wording on the press release. In a bid to combine comfort with a splash of fun, the Lake County Captains are excited to unveil the first ever Roto-Rooter toilet row. Yeah, it's a unique seating experience, groundbreaking first in minor league baseball, as if it would ever happen in Major League Baseball. You can sit right behind home plate and enjoy the game from the comfort of a deluxe high-end toilet. Eight of these throne seats. By the way, not just any toilets. They're super comfortable, elegantly designed, a great view of the action. Also, the entire row comes with a personalized attention from their dedicated bathroom attendant, Horatio.
Ooh,
he's good.
Does he wipe for you?
He's gonna make sure you've got mouthwash, combs, gum, whatever you need. Your bathroom attendant. It does need to be noted, to your question, Zup, these toilets are not connected to the stadium's plumbing system.
Immediately lost interest.
Yeah. It's just here's the thing. Yes, it's funny. It's cute, I guess. I guess that's the idea. But which game of the season will the first frat guy go down there and to win a $100 bet, lay a deuce down in an unconnected toilet? It's going to be game 1, right?
You know what? I assume that's why we're doing this story now. We're just laying the foundation for hilarity that will ensue when someone, drops a biscuit there.
I mean, listen, we live in a world where sometimes you have to get creative to work with a sponsor. Just because Roto-Rooter likes baseball doesn't mean you got to put people in toilet seats in the stadium. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Lake County Captains. The toilets have magazine racks in the back for programs and snacks, etc. So basically what you're going to have is images of people sitting on very nice toilets with a hot dog in one hand, a beer in the other, cell phone in the little holder, enjoying minor league high A baseball.
Doesn't sound a lot different than me at home on my throne.
That very good point. Yeah,
Do you have a cup holder in the bathroom?
I do have a cup holder in the bathroom.
So proud.
And I have a little holder for my phone as well because I get tired of just setting it on the floor when I have to wipe. and I can honestly say on my mother's grave that I've had a hot dog on the toilet.
Attaboy. Was it a beef hot dog?
Except my mom's not dead yet. So.
Well, yeah. I just went right past that. I didn't want to get on that story.
I don't think. I haven't checked in with her yet today. But yeah, no, I think it was. I don't know. A hot dog's a hot dog. I don't read the ingredients.
Yeah, that's kind of how I roll as well. Once it's a certain heat, once it's a certain temperature inside, it really doesn't matter what it once was.
Right.
I just know where it's going. If this were going to be like me watching ball game on the toilet, I would actually be facing away from the field, but positioning a mirror. You know what I mean? Like you're on the bathroom, you get the mirror, and then you leave the door open so you can see the reflection of the TV. That's how I've watched ball games from the John as my is the John a word used in Minnesota for the bathroom?
No, I don't think so.
It's got to go to the John. Maybe that's a Michigan thing. That was a Gorman fan. Yeah. Honey, why are you in the John for so long?
Yeah, I think in Minnesota just kind of innocently called the shitter, isn't it?
Could be.
That's innocent.
That's very innocent.
Like an old it's an old woebegone tune.
Yeah.
Settle the shitter.
If you're sitting on the toilet at the Lake County Captains baseball game, watching your beloved high A affiliate, high whatever the hell league that is they're playing in, and might as well get some sun while you're there too. And they do sell cheap beer at the stadium. The newest trend on social media, people are saying cheap beer helps you to tan faster. Not drinking it, which is how we see. Look, here's the real. If you don't get a great tan if you drink beer, if you use the beer the way it's intended. But then you just don't care as much about the second-degree burns when you pass out in the sun. I'm not suggesting drinking till you pass out. No, I'm saying people are literally online going, no, I've found I tan better with cheap beer poured all over my skin.
Yeah, go for it.
Because they say the hops in the beer make you tan faster. No, that's not happening at all.
Supposed to use it in your shampoo, aren't you?
I've heard it's good for the hair and the shampoo. The best shampoo is no shampoo. Just wash your hair like twice a week. You'll be fine. That's how I get this bounce at this age. I'm just saying.
I didn't want to ask, but I was curious, of course.
So cheap beer on your skin. Yeah, again, ultimately all that's going to happen is you're going to smell like sweat and beer. Yeah. Which I guess happens if you're just drinking it on the beach also.
Drink enough that you sweat it out of your pores, I suppose. Maybe they're just trying to sell cheap beer, I think, at this point.
I think I was still a teen the last time I tanned easily. Like I used to tan as a kid, great. And then probably 18 or 19, all of a sudden I was like, hey, why is my skin red? And I haven't been out in the sun since. It's just the Irish caught up to me real fast.
Oh, yeah. You said nothing but pour coconut oil. On your skin.
That was, I forget which comedian it was, but she did a wonderful bit on, today we slather. Anyway, our kids up in sunscreen, they're just these little, white dolls out there. When we were growing up, it was suntan oil. We were trying to burn ourselves. Yeah. And if that didn't get the job done, we took a big piece of aluminum or tin or something foil.
Oh my God, that's right.
To magnify the rays of the sun onto our oily bodies.
Man, we watched with the kids There's Something About Mary a few years back. And you remember the Cameron Diaz, her next door neighbor is the much older woman whose skin is like a leather football helmet from the 1920s.
Oh, yeah.
And she's got that reflective thing. And like, and the kids were both like, what's the deal with that woman? I'm like, oh, she's like an old super tan. And they're like, huh? Like that was like that's a thing that doesn't happen anymore. I was like, that's you just had to be there. That's from the 19s.
Yeah, we're invited. Skin cancer. Let's get to it. Let's quit screwing around here. And if you didn't have the copper tone oil, then you just went with good old baby oil. Just sit
baby
there
oil. That's
sizzle
right.
in the sun.
Just ridiculous. Whew, all right, it is Tuesday. It is July 2nd. You know what Tuesday means around here? It means two things. One, a sports and music history lesson, and most importantly, it's Tuesday. Mike Evans' Hollywood Report. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, July 2nd. If you, like me, are a soccer fan, let's just not talk about what happened last night with the U.S. men. We suck! Okay, there, I said it. It's out of my system. I can move on with the day now. It's time for the Tuesday Mike Evans Hollywood Report.
Hey, good morning, KQRS. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Zeph. Good morning, Tony. Good morning to everybody. One more day. We got the 4th of July, and I can't wait. Hey, I was going to let this go, but I just can't do it. I cannot do it. What was the BET TV bigwigs thinking by honoring O.J. Simpson during the memoriam of the BET award show? O.J. Simpson, the cold-blooded double murderer? Really? And by the way, having spent my career in Los Angeles, there's been an ongoing joke for decades and decades and decades how O.J. Simpson would never, ever support any charity. Just wouldn't do it. Not unless you paid him. Regarding asking O.J. Simpson just to make an appearance at a major charity event, the joke was, don't waste your breath. O.J. Simpson, a horrible human being, certainly not worthy of an honor of any kind. Shame on BET. I guess the busiest man in Hollywood's got to be Woody Harrelson. Woody stars in a comedy romance called Fly Me to the Moon about faking the moon landing that, of course, actually did happen in 1969. Fly Me to the Moon opens nationwide in 2 weeks, and, of course, we will review it when it gets a little closer. Woody is also going to star in the true documentary thriller called Last Breath, where he tries to save his deep-sea diving buddy who is trapped underwater and running out of air in his tanks. Last Breath, supposed to be a great movie, opens February 28, 2025. Woody is also about to start shooting The Man with the Miraculous Hands. This, again, is a true drama set in World War II, where Woody Harrelson plays the main doctor of the Nazi Party and Hitler's personal doctor. But the doctor is secretly saving POWs' lives. This, again, a true story, no release date, but sounds like it's going to be a big movie. And Harrelson is rapping Girl from North County, originally a Broadway play, now the movie version. And it's called a love story musical? With Woody Harrelson. Bob Dylan, by the way, wrote most of the songs. The Venice Film Festival in Italy isn't for another 2 months, but representatives of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie have both sent word demanding schedules for the Venice Film Festival because both are going to be there and they want to make sure they don't bump into each other. Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, boy, they really hate each other. Celine Dion has been suffering from the very rare, very painful stiff person syndrome disease. It strikes only 1 out of every 1.5 million people. Last week, Celine Dion donated $2.5 million to the University of Colorado study of autoimmune diseases. And check out Celine Dion's incredible biography. It's really good. It's called I Am Celine, and it is on Prime Video. Hoo-yah. Hey, have a great day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Mike Evans, see ya.
There you have the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. It is a perfect time right now to look back. If you ain't learning, you ain't living. It is July the 2nd, and on this day, many, many, many years ago in 1903, one of the great baseball players of that era, Ed Delahanty, died in mysterious circumstances. He was on a train heading from western New York somewhere in western New York to New York City. He was going to meet his wife at Grand Central Station. Ed Delahanty got into a little trouble on the train, drank 5 whiskeys, pulled out a straight razor, and began threatening other passengers.
That'll teach them.
As one does, okay? It happens. The train's conductor said, "That's it, you got to go, Chief," and he threw him off the train. Delahanty, being kicked off the train, started walking across the International Railway Bridge, which connects Buffalo, New York, and Fort Erie, right near Niagara Falls. And got about halfway across the bridge, looked over. A few people were looking at him going, "What's that guy doing on the bridge?" And he just yelled something about "see you later, suckers," and took a dive. Threw himself off the bridge. Was found a couple weeks later at the bottom of Niagara Falls. Took 2 weeks to find him. 1946, the Veterans Committee voted him into the Hall of Fame, not for the header off the bridge, but for actually being a pretty good baseball player. What a weird story.
Yeah, a bad day. Good days,
just
bad days.
Rough day, man. Something about that meeting with his wife at Grand Central just had him turned over, I guess.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Thursday is July the 4th, which means take it easy out there. Be careful with the fireworks. My God, we are already off and running with some firework malfeasance out there. Oh, man, oh, man.
Well, we don't have to worry about that here in Minnesota because they're not legal here.
Yeah, that's right. So, thankfully, we won't have any issues Thursday night. Those heathens over in Wisconsin, however, look out. Brentwood, Long Island off the coast of New York. There's a town called Brentwood. It's in Suffolk County, as they say. A 66-year-old Brentwood man has entered the fray. He's our first story of the year of, oops, what happened to your hand? Out with a firework on Saturday night, in fact, getting the jump on Independence Day celebration. This gentleman severed his left hand while removing 3 fingers from his right hand.
Attaboy. That must have been a good one.
The entire left hand gone. 3 of the 5 fingers on the right hand gone. Holy smokes. That sounds like a hand grenade, not a firework. Well, but no. He was out there. He was in his own yard, Eastern Avenue home, 9 p.m. People around, got a few folks over. Hey, let's light this thing on fire. And then one thing leads to another. He's now in serious condition, as you might expect. Mm-hmm. New York State, fireworks are illegal. Wait a minute. Fireworks are illegal. How did this happen? Maybe someone will have a firework in Minnesota, Brian.
Oh, there's going to be lots of fireworks in Minnesota. Don't you worry about that.
This is going to be good. Oh, shit.
I tell you what, I mean, thank God. My first thought is this every year. Thank God Chauncey doesn't care, because I've had dogs that did not do well on 4th of July. Yeah. Chauncey just doesn't seem to notice at all. So at least I got that going for me.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, good luck with the motorcycles in Chauncey. But fireworks, that's a big one. I know a lot of people that freak out on their dog's behalf. But, yeah, dogs don't seem to dig them.
We did have a true, like a viral video that you see now. Every year there's always like someone's bag of fireworks goes off accidentally. We actually had that exact thing happen. A buzz bomb, which is a fly, it's a big thing you light, and it shoots up in the air, and a huge shower of sparks flies out. It was always my favorite personal firework. One of those went sideways into a big bag filled with all the other fireworks, and it did set the entire bag off in the Gorman driveway once. So those things, way easier to set off a bag of fireworks than you might imagine. It just takes literally one spark to fly.
I'm sitting there with a whole, the black cats, how they come all tied together, and you've just got a big, bandolero there of black cats. I reached down and lit one, and apparently it lit one in my hand, holding the entire bundle, and that went off. Didn't lose anything, just a few, kind of like the audio we just heard. But I used to take a bunch of those illegal fireworks over to South Dakota from Wisconsin. for the big family get-together on the Family Firearms and Fireworks. That's what we celebrated every year out there in South Dakota. And anyway, we'd be out there with $800 worth of fireworks, these huge cakes, and we'd set it all up in the dark. Dad and Mom and my brothers and sisters all got the families out there and all these little kids and all gathered up there at the end of the driveway. Mm-hmm. And we let my young nephew, at the time, I think about 10, he really wanted to light off one of the big 50 shooters.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we're like, okay, so we go out there with him. We're shining the flashlight down. Go ahead and light it. And then as soon as we light it, we're going to run back into the ditch. And as he did that, his foot, unbeknownst to us, hit that big 50-shot cannon.
Sure it did.
And tipped it over. We don't know this. It's in the dark. And we see the first one go off, and just a big green streak just fires right over, and I mean only a couple of feet over everyone's head.
Oh, man.
I see Dad grabbing kids and hitting the ground. It's it's like a war movie scene.
Incoming.
People screaming. So we run out to it, and Chris, my brother, tries to kick it. What are you going to do? You can't pick it up. And as he kicks it, it spins around and turns at me. So now I dive into the ditch.
Right.
And it's just firing into the tree strips. We have 50 of these to go. So it was... it was a good solid several minutes of terror, and it was the first one we set off.
Nice.
Got everyone settled back in, and we did finish the show. But,
a bit of a tone setter for the evening.
Oh, man, if that would have hit my dad in the face, it would have blown his head right off.
Well, my sister took my big pack of Black Cats and just flushed it down the toilet. She didn't want me to get hurt. Thanks.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
God bless her. I hope there was some sweet revenge. Did you, tear a head off her doll or something?
No tactic.
Tony, your boys are perfect firework age right now for all kinds of trouble. Will there be fireworks? Are you concerned about that? Do they get the safety lecture beforehand, or is that something they're just not dealing with this year?
They're cool with it. They're more observers. They like to do those things that you throw them at the ground and they go, they pop.
Okay.
Those little poppers.
Yeah, pop.
Yeah.
Sure. When I was a kid, I lived in a state like Wisconsin, Kentucky. No, thank you. But right on the state line, I mean, literally 4 feet after the sign that said "Welcome to Tennessee" was a log cabin filled with fireworks for sale.
Yeah.
And it's just the line to that place was just a mile long every year in the week building up to the 4th of July. There's always great stories around this time of year. A lot of them, of course, as it is Tuesday, not so much fun. In 2017, a man arrived at the San Antonio Military Medical Center, and he said, I got a problem with my leg. He had an unexploded firework lodged in his leg. He'd been trying to set off a mortar-style firecracker, like a mortar style. You drop it in and it shoots. The rocket ignited and blasted straight into his leg, but then did not explode.
Damn.
He got to the hospital. He was quickly quarantined from other patients. The explosive ordnance disposal team came in to supervise his treatment. He was cleared. The firework was removed without incident. Thank goodness.
Wow.
So it's not all just fireworks around here for Tuesday. We do have other proper, as we call them, good old standard unfun facts. Let's get into it. Rabbits. Rabbits will eat their young if they're stressed enough. When rabbits get stressed, they turn on their own babies.
Well, they produce so damn many of them.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. I think that's the point, isn't it? Have a bunch, then in a pinch, you're not going to go hungry.
Yeah, if we could have a litter every month, we might eat a couple ourselves.
We certainly might.
Wow.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. We had there was a question on the text line, and this leads to a very, very, very uncomfortable, unfun fact. Somebody had sent in something. Dan on the text line, I believe it was Napoleon, that used to take cow calves and they would suck on a man's dong for torture. That was the question.
For torture?
For torture.
Well, sign me up.
now, our crack research team named Ryder could not find out that was true. But
I'm pretty sure that it's not true. This is also the worst Google search that I have ever done, and I was unprepared for it.
That's where I was going with that one. I want to see all of the different things you entered into Google to come up with the fact that was just an old wives' tale.
I know. So when we were kids, I I do remember getting into my 20s and thinking back, wait a minute, if I'd only had the imagination I had as a young man, as a young kid, and that is we had bottle calves. Mom died, the cow died, so you'd have to go out and feed the bottle calves, and they became your little buddy before Dad he'd be like, don't name him. Of course I'm going to name him. His name is Mickey. He looks like Mickey Mouse, and then off to the slaughterhouse he goes.
Yep.
But anyway, bottle calves, and when they come over, they're just in a frenzy. They really want that nipple. And you're not quite ready, and they're knocking you around there because it's a calf, So you would stick your finger in its mouth. Just give him a finger, and he'll suck on the finger for a minute and just relax until we get everything all ready to go. So, I suppose on the old dong never occurred to me at that age, I guess.
I'm glad. I'm really glad that's where that story went. So that's not so much an unfun fact, but this is. Speaking of Napoleon, true story here. After Napoleon died, his penis was removed by his doctor during the autopsy. It was then given to a priest who smuggled Napoleon's junk to Corsica. The priest was ultimately murdered, but his family kept the penis until 1916 when they sold it to a British collector. While in possession of the collector, the penis was displayed in New York. Crowds came to see it. It was not preserved in formaldehyde. It was described as, quote, looking like a piece of leather or a shriveled eel. The French government ultimately was given a chance to buy back Napoleon's John Thomas, and they passed. Eventually purchased by an American collector who also owned a piece of Lincoln's blood-stained collar from the night he was assassinated, as well as some upholstery from the limo JFK was in when he was killed. This collector happened to be a urologist. Go figure. There's nothing fun about any of that information.
I suppose it's dinner parties. Hey, let me show you guys something. Come on into the study here. Well, you're a great person when they're, saving your wiener and smuggling it around Europe.
Yeah.
Selling it.
I guess so. There was a whole storyline on the TV show Succession where Connor, the oldest and literally most insane in his own way of the Roy brothers, had bought Napoleon's penis. That was pretty great. Right. And of course, I had to then Google it and realize, this was a real thing. Okay, great. Thanks for letting me Google Napoleon's penis, HBO. Thousands of people, speaking of unfun facts, thousands of people have had their ashes scattered at Disneyland.
Oh, well, okay. I want my ashes. All right, I get it. That's. I mean, is there a protocol for that?
Yeah, does Disney know about this, or do you have to sneak them in?
I'm just thinking back. We've got a family photo, Marley on the teacup ride, and there's like a little. It looked like she'd just gone to Ash Wednesday Mass, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. What was that flying ash that got on my daughter's forehead?
I mean, would you do it over the haunted attraction? What is that one?
You would have to, right? Yeah. Or at least, Space Mountain, and then, no one will ever know what's in there. I'm not really sure. Male honeybees exist solely to mate with the queen bee, after which he is castrated and immediately dies.
It's just a expedited form of human marriage.
It is. And by the way, this just a lot. I know a lot of guys who would take the deal.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, just give me one purpose in life. I don't have to think about... I don't have to pay bills. I don't have to worry about... What are you kidding? Yeah, I don't have to raise the kid. Give it on. Let's go.
All right.
Here's an unfun fact. This is incredibly unfun. Female ducks are often, more than regularly, forced into mating by male ducks. So much so that evolution has protected the female ducks. It's created multiple vaginal defenses. Attackers are confused, and it helps to avoid unwanted pregnancies. Like literally, different. Their bodies have evolved so that the male ducks aren't quite sure where they're putting things. I did some actual research into this. Apparently, remember when that guy that some boneheaded senator was he was in Congress going, well, the female body can shut this all down if they don't want. It's saying you cannot become pregnant from a forced sexual assault.
Yeah.
Maybe he was thinking of the ducks on his farm when he said that.
Probably was thinking of the ducks.
Yeah, ducks and geese. They have evolved very complex genitalia to thwart unwelcome mating attempts. There you have it.
Evolution, that's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, women have mace and ducks have multiple vaginas. Both of which I say good, whatever it takes.
I can see that, male mallard swimming away thinking, oh, that's a good day, got my job done there. And she's like, you weren't even close.
Man.
You weren't even in the neighborhood.
No, yeah, trust me, dude. That's great. That's, I'm having a hard time hearing right now, but that'll clear up. Okay, there is a wasp. No, there is a wasp known as the tarantula hawk wasp.
Jesus, that's a name.
Yeah, isn't it? And this is why it's called that. It hunts and paralyzes and then traps a tarantula and then uses it for live food for its larva. Listen to this. A female tarantula hawk wasp will sting a tarantula, paralyzing it, and then it drags it to a specially prepared burrow, and it lays a single egg on the Spiderman's abdomen. When the wasp larva hatches, it creates a small hole in the tarantula's abdomen. It enters it, and it feeds voraciously, avoiding the vital organs for as long as possible to keep the spider alive while it eats it for nutrition.
Holy nightmare.
For the first few weeks of that larva's life, it is inside a living tarantula, eating it from the inside out.
What the hell? Sounds like a ferret bat.
Some people would say, yeah, that's what it felt like when I was pregnant. You're just like, what is, my body's a factory for something else. And by some people, I mean my wife. Every now and again, she'd look at me and go, you'll never understand what it's like to go, wait, there's somebody inside me, and it's just, I'm exhausted all the time. And then, of course, the babies come out, and she's like, I don't know who I was before this child. But pregnancy is, man, that ain't a fairy tale, let me tell you. That's how that goes. All right, there's some really spectacularly unfun facts for this Tuesday.
Damn.
Wow. Well received, everybody. We're all still okay, right? Anybody need some Mylanta or something? Any nausea going on yet? We were trying.
Could use an old-fashioned, perhaps, but yeah.
Oh, man. That is a rough one. So moving along, as we like to do around here. Oh, wait, hold on. I did forget one last one. Sorry. There's never, ever, ever really a time when there's always a sneak attack. There's always, you know what? It's like a football coach used to say, watch for late hits. One more for you. Disney's film Pirates of the Caribbean used real skeletons. The fake ones didn't look any good. So there you have it.
Are they former workers, employees?
A gentleman in Florida, which is a great way to start any story. A gentleman in Florida is my kind of hero now because, well, he took matters into his own hands. Don't like drones? Our man has shown you the way. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's July the 2nd, Tuesday morning. Good morning. Back in 2022, Walmart announced in several locations around the country that they were going to be rolling out drone deliveries. In Florida, they have a company called Drone Up. They've been working with Walmart actually down there since 2021. They said they're going to influence the expansion of drone technology and enable other businesses to explore the benefits, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, Walmart is making deliveries via drone and has been doing so for a few years down there. The other day, however, one of the drones ran afoul because it went a little too close to a guy named Dennis Wynn's house. Dennis Wynn is 72 years old. He was outside working on his pool when he heard something in the air, and he looked up, and about 75 feet above ground near his home, he saw a very high-tech drone. He did what anybody would do. He grabbed his 9mm handgun and began firing at it.
Here he is.
I fired one round at it. Now they say I hit it, so I must be a good shot.
Mr. Wynn was defending his property. He felt that this drone was invading his private property. He is a homeowner.
Guess who that was?
I love that. He is a homeowner.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So what?
No remorse there.
I fired one round at it. Now they say I hit it, so I must be a good shot.
Yeah.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. Pick a prize off the top shelf.
Yeah, it did strike the drone's payload. So he did hit the package it was holding. The operator immediately flew it back to the store. The guy running the drone is like, "Whoa, my God, someone's shooting at the drone."
That's a pretty good shot with a handgun.
It's a very good shot with a handgun. There were two people on the ground who were ready to receive the package. They heard the shot and go ducking for cover because they're like, what in the world? He was a little concerned that the drone was spying on him, a recon mission.
Yeah. Why do I have a feeling this man has zero going on in his life that anyone, let alone a government, would want to spy on? But good for your paranoia. What you really did is deprive another Florida man of his beer, Twinkies, and Crocs.
It's filled with Skittles, so it was a nice surprise.
Oh, what, like a piñata? Just
can you imagine?
Down.
Yeah, that would be gorgeous. A beautiful multicolored piñata burst.
Well, drone deliveries are coming, and they're, like you said, been happening for several years in some markets already. And in Europe, they're already doing air taxis over there. Just basically a drone come pick you up and drop you off somewhere. But in Montana, may never come to Montana. Always slow to get to Montana, but the people are using drones out there all the time. And in fact, it got to be such a problem with people shooting them down over their property that it went to the Montana Supreme Court, and they said, yeah, Montana, someone flies a drone over your property and shoot it right out of the sky.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
This gentleman, again, Dennis Wynn, said he's had past experiences with drones that are clearly surveilling him. The best part is, while waiting for a transport vehicle to go downtown, as they say, police reported that he did yell to a neighbor that I'm going to jail for shooting a drone. He just wanted to say that. He wanted everybody to know.
Yeah, he thinks he's a little hero there in the neighborhood. I sure hope the actual delivery person doesn't get the wrong address, and knock on his door. My God.
I knew a guy, worked with a guy, was friends with a guy in the 90s who shall remain nameless, who one day I was over at his house and he said, have you ever seen those black helicopters? And I said, sorry? He goes, black helicopters. And I had this is pre-internet, but there was a thing about black helicopters back in the 90s. I don't remember what they were supposed to be, but it was like black helicopters represented the deep state on some level, and they're surveilling us all. And I said, yeah, what do you mean? He goes, I see helicopters over the house all the time. And I go, yeah? It's helicopters, like news helicopters, or it's the life flight to the hospital. He goes, no, man, I think they've got that thing where they can tell if you have over $10,000 cash in your house. I think they're over the house.
Oh.
And I said, do you have $10,000 cash in this house? He goes, no. And I go, well, then what are you worried about? What I don't understand. And that conversation went nowhere. And I kid you not, the next time I was at his house, he goes, there's that truck again. I go, what truck? He looks out the window and he goes, that FedEx truck stops right, not in front of his house, but like down just a little bit off of the front.
Someone else's house?
He goes, that truck stops there like 3 days a week and just sits there for like 20 minutes. And I said, point blank, the guy's probably having lunch. He goes, what are you talking about? I go, he's just taking lunch or he's returning calls. I go, did you ever walk out there and ask? He goes, no, don't do that. I literally walk out. I walk through the front yard. I walk up to the truck, and I walk up, and the driver looks at me and goes, hey. I go, hey, man, what's going on? He goes, just take my break here every day. He takes his 20-minute power nap in the middle of just driving for 8 or 10 hours. He goes, he goes, I don't really sleep, but I get a little time to this is a quiet neighborhood. No one ever, I'm sorry to bug you. He goes, no problem. And I was like, yeah, no, he's not surveilling you. He's not sending Morse code signals to the black helicopters. He's a FedEx guy who's tired.
I love the most paranoid people have the most vacuous lives, too. I always love to ask them, I'm like, what do you think they're, well, what are you up to? What are you afraid they might find out? Well, just what I'm doing. You don't do anything. You just sit around your house all day. I think no one's spying on you, dude.
I think you're nervous that people might find out you have nothing going on. That's the ultimate concern. Hey, speaking of drone deliveries, June 24th, I did not realize this was World UFO Day. Tony, what did you do anything for World UFO Day? I feel like we missed a special day for you.
Oh, I lit special torches.
Okay.
And decorated the house.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a huge celebration.
World UFO Day was created to promote awareness by encouraging people to gather and watch the skies for unidentified flying objects.
Well, I mean, on a nice night, it's cool to watch the skies anyway.
Do that every night.
Yeah, why not? If you get a good clear night, we don't get a lot of those around here these days, but sure, why not?
Something about UFOs and that guy Jared just doesn't add up in my head.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why that is.
Unless it involves a laser. Aimed.
right.
Specific laser.
Well, there'll be, I suppose, drones all over the place. I mean, this is something that's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
My Uber Eats going to be bringing it via drone because I get food delivered, I'll be honest, 3-4 days a week. It's pretty bad. I don't want to add up what I'm spending on having someone just bring food from over there. I could almost point to the place where they're bringing food to me from, but you mentioned the flying taxis and stuff. There was just reminded me that they were claiming in Paris a year ago that by the time the Olympics kick off, the flying taxis will be all over the city of lights. That's not the case. There was a very strong push to get these flying taxis ready for the 2024 Summer Olympics, and they are nowhere near it. There's just too much, as there should be, regulatory hurdles in the way. That's something I want an Olympic committee to push,
Yeah.
Just see if you can't work on those no-sex beds. See if you can't perfect that, the flimsy beds.
Don't we have to bring our own air conditioners? I believe Team USA is all bringing their own air conditioners.
Is that true? I hadn't heard that.
I'll dig it up, but I think we're all bringing our own AC with us, and they thought they were going to have flying taxis. Come on.
I mean, that's kind of embarrassing, though. We must seem like pussies. Oh, look, the Americans are bringing air conditioning.
We promised you flying taxis, but we don't have those. But please enjoy a rainbow array of condoms. A lot of condoms in the Olympic Village, as we all know. I hadn't heard about the air conditioning units. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's really funny. The idea that if you've ever been in a taxi cab in Paris that's a car on the ground, then you know what fear is. Putting those people in flying machines?
Well, I mean,
no, sir.
Drones, so.
These were manned little flying taxis, weren't they? I don't think these were drones.
No, these were manned. I know which ones you're talking about. I see in Denmark, though, that they are experimenting already and have been for the last couple of years with drone taxis, Yeah, right.
Well, they can do that. Denmark's different. They can do that in Denmark. I mean, it's like 7 people per square mile. You can mess around a little bit better.
Think about how that's worse, though, because now the pilot isn't even in it with you. They don't have any skin in the game. It's some Acme farm down there with a game controller, just arguing with his mom, pissed off, and I don't know.
Acme farm,
because she didn't look at him today in school, and now he's flying you around in a taxi. I want the pilot in the taxi with me. Some skin in the game, please.
My son is an Air Force ace. I sure am, Dad.
Thumbs up.
Speaking of which, I read a story a couple of years ago, actually. The Air Force had to reduce their physical requirements.
Yeah.
To qualify because they needed drone pilots, and the big chubby kids just weren't getting the push-ups in, and they're like, "Oh God, do we need them anyway? Get them in here."
No, they got it. Yeah, I mean, think about what it meant to be an ace. Like you did the commendations, and then now it's just some guy off the Acme farm, just sitting in a darkened room somewhere. We're just working that joystick for something 6,000 miles away. It's pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
Speaking of 6,000 miles away, in Perth, Australia, a family was having a nice Italian meal with the kids. The 2 little daughters, I believe, were looking for a little cranberry juice. They're just looking for some juice, cranberry. I don't know if there was a urinary tract infection involved here or not. That's where my thoughts go when I hear anybody drinking cranberry juice just on their own free will. But a family in Australia went to a restaurant. This is in Perth. Perth it's on another planet. It's the west coast of Australia. Don't go there. They have flying spiders. It's terrible. They asked for cranberry juice. The girls got their drinks, took a sip. Turned out it wasn't cranberry juice, but instead it was a citronella-based insecticide.
What? How?
I make those mistakes all the time.
Yeah, but you've already got to be drunk to make that mistake. How?
There was, there was a bottle in the refrigerator of a citronella-based insecticide that was apparently, I guess, too close to or looked a little bit too much like the cranberry juice bottle.
Why would you need to chill that?
I don't know. That's
in
just
the same refrigerator as
the cranberry juice came, and my daughters went to gulp it down, and they spat it out and said it's poison, didn't it? That's basically the quote from the mom. Just gulping down citronella-based insecticide. The girls were rushed to the hospital. They're going to be fine. But the 12-year-old said it was really disgusting. It felt like somebody had poured fire in your stomach. Felt like I had pins and needles in my arms and legs. Whoa.
Yeah, here they are.
The cranberry juice came. My daughters went to gulp it down, and they both spat the cranberry juice out and said it's poisoned.
It's really disgusting, and how you'd expect insect repellent to taste like. It felt like somebody had poured fire in your stomach, and I was scared that I was going to die. And it felt like you had pins and needles in your arms and legs.
Oh.
It's so scary. I mean, that is scary for a 12-year-old girl. Not as scary as knowing you will be eaten by dingoes eventually, because that's what happens.
It's Australia.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they've got razor sharp teeth and bad attitudes, mate. Just get used to it. You're living down there on an island filled with death and destruction. So it's just, one restaurant's insecticide is another Australian brown snake, or it's a box jellyfish. Something's going to kill you. It's just how it works.
They probably gave them some cranberry juice, didn't they, to kind of flush that out a little bit?
That's very true. If it's going to flush out that UTI, it's definitely going to flush out a little bit of insecticide.
I have lost my fiancé, the poor baby.
Maybe the dingo ate your baby.
What?
The dingo ate your baby.
You guys remember that Seinfeld episode?
Sure.
Oh my God. Oh, that's great. It's a tough lesson. The fact that cranberry juice is what you need for just about anything going wrong with you.
Yeah.
Just if you're taking antibiotics, it'll make them stronger. Cranberry juice, that's the key. That's what they tell me. Just get cranberry juice. It always helps.
Not insecticide.
Not insecticide. No, insecticide's great for your crops.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The farming aspects of your day, you can totally go to the insecticide for that. But generally speaking, for thirst, stay away from it. Go with straight cranberry juice. Hey, guess what?
Game show time?
I just looked at the clock. Holy crap. We've got a game show we got to get to.
Let's get to it. We'll take a couple of callers, 9 and 2, 651-989-ROCK. This morning we're playing Pyro or Porno for tickets. Huh? We're not playing that this morning?
No, sir.
What are we playing?
We are playing Firework, Sex Toy, or Snack.
Oh, I thought we were playing...
different.
I thought we were playing Pyrotechnic or Pornography.
Firework, sex toy, or snack? Why can't we have all three is my question.
Yeah, I don't know. I just made that up in my head, I guess. 651-989-ROCK. Dollar up.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Tuesday, July the 2nd. Good morning. Ho! 4th of July right around the corner. We've had a little bit of chatter already today about fireworks malfeasance. We'll get into some more of that. Make no mistake about it. You can always, of course, be thinking about what you might want to share with us. But right now, far more pressing concerns. We've got some tickets to give away. 3 Dog Night and the Little River Band will be at the Ledge Amphitheater July 19th. We'll go dancing in the dark. We'll go singing after dark, whatever, reminiscing. I'm screwing up the lyrics, but you know what I'm getting at. Hurry, don't be late. I can hardly wait. Little River Band had the hits, man. And then 3 Dog Night, of course, it speaks for itself. That's a big night, July 19th at the Ledge Amphitheater. And we got tickets to give away, but we're going to make you work for them. So, Tony, today, something tells me this is a special game today.
It is. It's patriotic fun time, this gem. The 4th of July, yes, it's all about fun and excitement, and so are all of these things we're going to focus on for our game. All fun and exciting. The categories are fireworks, sex toys, or snacks. We'll read them and you guess which is which. Is it a firework, a sex toy, or a snack? And win.
Wow.
Yep.
That's just another classic from the mind of Tony Lee right there. We've got a couple callers ready to compete at this, the highest pursuit known to man. Who's caller number one?
Let's start out with the fine Scott from Minnetonka.
Scott, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Scott, are you a fan of either fireworks, sex toys, or snacks?
All of them.
Attaboy. Well, then you are in the right place, my friend. We got Three Dog Night and Little River tickets here and on the offering, so good luck to you, sir.
All right. Let's do it.
All right, Scotty, number one, 8-second ride. Firework, sex toy, or a snack?
Oh, God. Let's go sex toy.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Is it a firework?
It was a firework.
8-second ride.
8-second ride. That's a bit of a self-indictment there, Scott. But listen, hope springs eternal. We can turn this game around. Let's get back on that horse. That's not a sex toy or a firework. That's just a saying. Sorry.
They're tough. Number two, Doc Johnson. Firework, sex toy,
Am I
or
going to fire up sex toy for all these? I don't know. I guess let's run it back. Sex toy.
You got it.
Yes, sir.
The old Doc Johnson.
I feel like a lot of these could be dual purpose, too.
Man.
Number three is Fiddle Faddle.
Pretty sure that's a snack.
That is true.
It's
delicious caramel corn, peanuts.
Yeah.
It's fine snacking.
Sure is.
Number four, Blue Banger.
Oh, God. Let's go. Let's go firework.
Nice.
That
is true.
Isn't that the Minnetonka High? Isn't that the Minnetonka Blue Bangers?
That was the name of the skipper.
Oh, okay.
All right, two more for you, Scotty. Number five is Hot Seat.
Hot what?
Hot Seat.
Hot seat. Oh my God. Let's go sex toy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're on fire.
Wow. Let's go.
He's impressed with himself.
Let's go. Hell yeah, I am too.
Your last one is Little Debbie Honey Buns.
Well, that's a snack.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
All right, you've done well, sir.
Scott went 5 for 6. Wow. Very well played, sir.
Yeah.
Man, I like a guy who gets knocked down in the first round, then comes back to win on all cards. Scott, 5 for 6 is great. Sit tight, brother. We're going to put you on hold for a minute. It's time for caller number 2. Who we got, Tony?
Caller number 2 is Doug from Lino Lakes. Bring it.
Doug, good morning.
Good morning.
Doug, are you a fan of fireworks, sex toys, or snacks, or all three?
I heard fireworks. What were the other two?
Sex toy or snacks.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it.
Well said.
Well, then we're going to wish you the best of luck, sir.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Number 1 for you, Doug, is Knuckle Up. Firework, sex toy, or snack?
Snack.
I'm sorry, that is a sex toy.
Oh, boy.
No.
Knuckle up.
Oh, yes.
Ryder can confirm.
Wow. Yeah. Opening up the Google. All right, never mind. Let's move on, please.
Douglas, number 2 is hoo-ha.
Jeez. Hoo-ha. I'm gonna go with snack.
Shoot, I'm sorry. It is a firework.
Ooh.
I'm a zombie so far.
Ooh-ah.
Doug, number 3 is Steel Force.
That is a firework.
Yes, it is. Nice.
Man.
Very nice.
3 more for you.
That was tough. Wow, okay.
Doug, number 4 is Banana Bites.
I'm going to go snack.
How about that?
Attaboy.
Good job. 2 more. Number 5, Falcon Man Rammer.
Sex toy.
Yes, sir. And your last one, number 6, is Gushers.
Gushers is a snack.
Nice job.
Attaboy.
Wow.
Man, Doug, that's a heady 4 for 6. Great, well played, sir. But I'm afraid Scott, who went 5 for 6, just edged you out for the tickets. Doug, thanks for calling and playing. Scott, you, sir, are the winner of the day. Three Dog Night and Little River Band tickets, July 19th at the Ledge Amphitheater. Congratulations, sir.
Lovely. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, have a great night. Man, that's pretty good. There was a few of those I did not have.
That was not easy.
No, Steel Force, I just went straight to sex toy in my head, but what are you going to do? Three Dog Night. So Three Dog Night, Joy to the World, obviously. The Jeremiah was a Bullfrog song. And then Mama Told Me Not to Come. Also a huge hit. What else am I thinking? Oh,
Eli's Coming.
One is The Loneliest Number. Eli's Coming, that's right. Just an old-fashioned love song. Yeah, they had a lot of songs.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, what am I talking about? Of course. Fair enough. And then the Little River Band. Don't sleep on Cool Change. Always love that one. Time for cool change. Come on. Australian, if I'm not mistaken. The Little River Band.
Are they?
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, they got bad attitudes, mate. So let's see. It is summertime, and we did get some confirmation. Ryder, you said something about the American athletes bringing their own air conditioning units to Paris for the summer games. And yes, this is true. Well, here's the deal. The Paris Olympic Committee, one of the serious goals they had was to reduce the carbon footprint of this massive sporting event compared to previous Olympics. So in order to do that, they are using what they call innovative, eco-focused cooling solutions to keep the rooms that athletes will be sleeping in cool throughout the summer games. They want to minimize carbon emissions and keep temperatures at comfortable levels in the rooms. So here's the quote. We don't need AC in the buildings because we oriented the facades so that they wouldn't get too much sun during the summer. We use naturally cool water that we're getting from underground to cool the air of these apartments.
See?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I've been to France, and it stinks in the summer. It's hot. That's all I'm saying. Bring your own AC if that's what you need. Yeah. The American Olympians are saying we're just used to having climate control at all times. When we sleep, we need it cold, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. By the way, United Kingdom, Australia, Denmark, Italy, and other countries also have athletes bringing in their own AC units. No one's buying into this French nonsense.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's there was a time when the Olympic athletes, I think, were cut apart from coddled professional athletes, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
No, the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, suggested that everyone should truly, simply trust the science. And I would tend to agree with her, except I've seen Under Paris on Netflix. The shark movie. Anybody hip to that?
No.
Oh man, if you want to watch literally the worst, dumbest movie you've ever seen, if you want 90 minutes to just kill brain cells, Under Paris on Netflix, it's great. It's sharks in Paris, in the catacombs, swimming around, breeding rapidly without the need for male sharks. Oh, it's fantastic. Right. And they get in the way of that darn triathlon. They're swimming in the Seine, and here comes hundreds of sharks hungry for blood. Oh, it's good stuff.
That doesn't sound bad, actually.
It was great. I mean, I was digging it. I was disappointed in one thing. There was a lot of moments when different settings where a lot of Parisians were horrified at the sight of watching people mangled by sharks, and at no point did anyone ever say "Sacre bleu." It was right there. It was right there on the table. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was that obvious. I mean, I thought it was that obvious, but I'm the only one. Speaking of Paris, Paris comes up as one of the top 3 vacation spots for couples if you're booking a trip with your significant other and what you're thinking about is the amour when you get there. You just want to go somewhere and just knock the nickels out of each other's pants. Hawaii, Paris, and Cancun, the top 3 spots for Americans for romantic or sexual escapade getaways.
And Brainerd.
And Brainerd, yes. Hawaii, I get. And Cancun I get. And Paris I get on paper. And Paris I get if you're watching a movie. But when you go to Paris, it's just crowded and loud. And it's really hot in the summer. And everyone's mad at all the tourists. I don't get it. I'm just saying, it's not quite the same in real life.
No, it's just been kind of sold to us, pitched at us.
And you've had all that cheese, and it gets in the way of, after all the cheese, the lovemaking takes it's just not there for you.
Right.
Maybe that's just me.
All a-holes over there, I heard.
They can be. They certainly can be. These things happen. Have you ever booked a trip thinking about the fact that, well, where can I go to get my freak on? I mean, like you said, Zep, go to Brainerd. Go anywhere. Just shut the door, for God's sakes.
Yeah, the backyard.
The hell?
Right here in Brainerd.
That's it. You can do all kinds of things. Here's an interesting one. Traveling with kids, a lot of in this whole poll, parents said that they don't, generally speaking, no need to book kids their own hotel room. You just wait till they're asleep, and then you can take care of business with them in the next bed over. Can't say that ever happened with us. No. When you're traveling with kids and they go to sleep, you go to sleep too. You sleep when they sleep, or you're just kidding yourself.
Yeah.
Got to be done.
Yeah, no, that's a separate room. That's a whole different thing.
We took Connell. He turned one on tour, if you will. His first birthday, he had a week in London, and then from there to Japan. So he turned one actually in Tokyo, and we lived in New York at the time. New York to London, he was fine. He was like, he never had jet lag. His schedule just moved ahead a few hours, and it was real easy. He slept through the night. We had this great week in England with a kid who was just learning how to walk, and we were like, this is so fun, and what a cool opportunity for us, and he's having a good time. And then we made the mistake of continuing the tour in Japan, and we flew from London to Tokyo with a child who had just that week learned how to walk. So what that meant was he had no interest in sitting in his seat on the plane for the 12-hour flight. Yeah. He insisted on walking up and down the aisles the entire time. And I mean the entire time. And we'd put him in, and he would just get fussy. And because we're on a plane and we don't want to be the parents who have a crying or freaking out kid, we're just trying to keep him happy because we're surrounded by strangers and we don't want to ruin their experience. So one of us is just walking up and down the aisles of this plane the whole flight. The dude never slept. He was so excited with his new toy, which is called walking.
Yeah.
And then we got to Japan for 10 days, and he never slept for more than 90 minutes at a time for 10 days.
Wow.
Jet lagged, sideways, miserable. I've never been more exhausted in my entire life than those 10 days.
Yeah, I can't imagine I would try and tackle that with a kid.
It was terrible. And then on the way out of the country, we saw a pediatrician in Osaka because he was getting a little sniffly. And I said, do you have any cold medicine for a 1-year-old that would help him sleep? And the doctor said, yes, just give him a little drop of this. And we gave it to him at the airport, and he slept for 16 straight hours. It was great.
Sake?
It was, I don't know what it was called. I didn't ask. I just knew it worked, and that was it. We were happy.
Morphine.
But whatever it took, man, seriously. I could not have cared less. Anyway, the lesson, as always, get a babysitter, keep the kids at home, go have a life.
Yeah, all right.
Man, big mistake. What were we thinking? The KQ karaoke, I'm sorry, not karaoke, the Rock the Boat 80s cruise is heading to Stillwater. Friday, July 26th, Stillwater Riverboats. We're going to be featuring live music from Rough House Rocks, drinks with the KQ crew, and, of course, free food. We're all going to have a great night. Tickets are on sale now at 92kqrs.com, sponsored by Hoffman Weber Construction. We are going to be discussing fireworks for the next few days, we as a nation. And then we as a KQ Morning Show would love to hear your stories about firework experiences gone wrong. We all know what happens when they go right, but let's talk about when they go wrong. 651-989-ROCK. Feel free to call in and or text firework malfeasance. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Tuesday, July the 2nd. Good morning. Happy 4th of July week. As discussed earlier, yesterday we talked about the fact more than half of Americans say this should be a whole week off. Just take the whole week. We're not doing that here, but boy, I wish we could. It would be great. I'd just get more time with my fireworks in if I could have the whole week off. But as it is, I'll cram them all down. I'll make it all happen on Thursday. Yeah, I'm not going to get a jump early. I'll wait. I'll save all my firework action for the actual 4th of July. A gentleman in New York got the early jump this weekend, blew his left hand off his arm and lost 3 fingers on his right hand. A 66-year-old gentleman out on Long Island in New York. He's recovering obviously in very serious condition. Firework or firecracker malfeasance, if you will, or just mistakes or just drunken buffoonery. We're talking right now. 651-989-ROCK. is the KQ talk and text line. I believe we have a few callers. Shelly, do we have Shelly on the horn yet?
Yes, she's with us.
Give me one sec.
All right.
Oh, no. Let's go to Mark from St. Cloud.
Let's do it. Mark, are you with us, brother?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call.
You got it. What have you got for us, sir?
So we were out in Williston, North Dakota, working on a construction project, and we all decided to go to one of the guys' houses that night, for grilling and drinking and, bonfire. And out there's no lights. So he goes, hey, I got some fireworks. We're like, perfect. So we got a group of people on one side, and him and his son are on the other side, and we're shooting fireworks off, and it's amazing because it's so dark. Well, then as his kid's messing around, he knocks one over just as it's about to go up. Ugh. And it heads at our group like a missile. Yeah, and hits one of the girls right in the crotch. Oh. And she's wearing jeans on. Bullseye. And so we're looking at her going, what do we do? Do we pat her down? Do we roll her? So we end up, patting her down, and her jeans are a little bit messed up. And to this day, in our group, she's affectionately known as Fire Crotch. But
well, sure,
affectionately, sure.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, and by the way, it would nothing more fitting. It would be a disappointment to us all if that weren't the case. That's just sometimes life just shows you the way. You know what I mean? The universe goes, this is her cross to bear for life, and she earned it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
appreciate the call.
Right,
Thank you very
guys.
much.
Yep.
On the KQRS Facebook page, here's a great comment from Ray. I grew up on a farm. And one year, when I was about 13, I was left alone while my parents went into town. I got an idea. I spread out some feed for the chickens and was throwing firecrackers into the bunch just to watch them jump. Yeah. It was all funny until my grandmother's prize rooster picked one up just as it exploded. Oh, boy. No more rooster and a very sore rear end when my parents got home.
Well,
yeah, that all checks out.
Yeah? Fresh rooster meat, I say.
Sure. I mean, you got to take advantage of it. That's why they make all those spices and oils. You just gotta throw it all in the pan and see what you can come up with. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ talk and text line. We have a call. I believe Amy is with us. Amy, are you there? Amy.
Hey, Amy.
Yes.
Hey, good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
What have you got for us?
Well, I do have a firework malfeasance. It's not mine. It's my neighbor's.
Okay.
He had a party at his house, so he parked all his, four-wheelers and fun vehicles in our front yard just to keep them safe. Had tons of fireworks. One fell over and blew up one of the four-wheelers. And they were trying to put it out with water. They had a truck right next to it. I mean, there was a lot of damage, but my front yard was on fire, and they didn't have a fire. Oh, what am I thinking?
Extinguisher or something like that.
Extinguisher. And so we brought out our little kitchen ones, and they were all out there. But he ruined 2 of his four-wheelers with that firework.
Hopefully they were insured.
Man. That's not easy to do.
He moved all his stuff so that it wouldn't get wrecked, but
unbelievable.
He was a little tipsy when he put that one down.
Yeah.
And my sister and I are, we're older and laughing our asses off and thinking, oh, dear God, it's our yard.
A little tipsy when it started and flat out hammered by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Partied all day, and then the fireworks went out at night, and that was like, they were blowing them.
That's what independence looks like right there, yeah.
That's right. Amy, I'm glad you're still around to tell the tale. It was getting dicey there for a minute. Thank you for the call.
Sure.
Man, that's pretty strong. I believe we have Shelly back on the horn right now. Shelly, are you with us?
Hello?
Shelly?
Yeah.
Shelly, if you're there, what have you got for us?
Oh, I didn't know I was on air.
You are on air, my friend.
I work at a trauma hospital.
Oh, boy.
And these are more cautionary. It's a cautionary tale rather than funny.
Okay.
Two little teenagers got some mason jars, got into their dad's gunpowder, filled them halfway up, and dropped a match, and they exploded, taking fingers and skin, it was nasty.
Yeah, it's a bomb.
Carnage.
It's not a firework, it's a bomb. You need a fuse, fellas, and create a little distance there between you and the bomb that you just made. That's an IED right there.
Oh, an IUD?
Yes, an IUD.
Well, in a manner of speaking.
It can be, yeah. It depends what it blows off, I guess.
Yeah.
And the other story was a professional fireworks shooter offer. And
I want that
don't know what
business
to call
card.
it. But one of them didn't go off, and he went back a while later and looked down in it.
Ugh.
Uh-oh.
And then it went off.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if it sat and smoldered or what.
Yeah.
We see so many fingers blown off that's not even news anymore.
Right, yeah. You just send them down to the other. They just get a Band-Aid, probably. Bag of ice. What's the most serious injury you saw come through the door?
Fireworks?
Yeah.
I guess it would have to be that guy that peeked in.
The peek in, that's never good. What is there to peek at? I mean, pyrotechnician you're talking about. You would think they'd know a little bit better than to go peeking around something that didn't go off. You're supposed to let it sit for a hell of a long time before you approach it. But, maybe the pyrotechnician was having a belt or two. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well,
I wish I had been after he showed up.
Yeah, man. That's messy. There was that guy in North Dakota blew his head clean off.
That's right. Ooh. That's exactly right. I saw that story earlier. Shelley, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Here's a quick question. Pardon my ignorance. Why does someone have a bunch of gunpowder laying around?
For reloading, for loading your bullets and your shells.
But I mean, like that much. In my mind, like gunpowder, you just need like a little. It's like a little pinch between your cheek and gum. It's like, I don't know, you had half a mason jar's worth.
It's grains it's measured in, and you need a bit more than that. I suppose, Dad probably has 4 or 5 pounds of it laying around. I mean, it's just, So, for reloading, maybe I'm just thinking of I think he's got like 1 3-pound barrel there. So they're not very big. It's pretty dense material. And
gotcha.
That's technically, generally why you'd have that around, or to make bombs.
Jeff on the Facebook page wrote, years ago we used to have bottle rocket fights, shooting them at each other until one exploded just as it hit a guy in the eye. He ended up with a glass eye. We discovered by accident one year the greatest bottle rocket fight protocol is not on 4th of July, but rather in the dead of winter because everyone's wearing a ton of clothing. Yeah. My brother lived in South Carolina and he lived on a beach right near a beach called Litchfield. And we were down there one Christmas, and it was unseasonably cold, as in like in the 20s, which on the coast of South Carolina, everybody was freaking out about. And for some reason, somebody just had a ton of Black Cat bottle rockets. And so we were bundled up. This is like, I'm in college. So my oldest brother's probably early 30s. I'm like 18, and everybody in between. All my brothers and I and some other folks in the neighborhood, we ended up on the beach, and it was like 26 degrees, and we're all bundled up, and we're just killing each other with bottle rockets. But nobody got hurt because we were all covered. It was great. And I was like, yeah, why don't we do this in the winter when everybody's wearing a ton of clothing, and then you don't end up with glass eyes, and you don't end up with, burns and blown out everything. And of course, never did it again. But at that time, we were like, yeah, this is how we're always going to do this.
There you go, thinking again. We used to have BB gun fights. Yeah, and you're right. In the winter, you had your coveralls on and like 5 layers, and it was no big deal.
Well, it reflects the light in lovely fashion, too.
It really does. It really does. My brother and I used to do this one right here, Dell, on our KQ Facebook page. My brother and I spent winter evenings building plastic model airplanes and hot rods and army tanks. Then on the 4th, we blew them up in firecracker demolition derbies.
Yeah.
Huge fun. Although he wishes he still had some of those models on a shelf at home. You've got memories, Del. You have memories.
Oh, I guarantee you, my brother Dave could call in right now and go down the list of all the model airplanes he made and then blew up. And I guarantee you, he is also filled with regret because, man, he was really good. Now that I'm saying this, I'm realizing he was probably a glue addict the way he spent so much time with those models. But, man, he had the touch. I believe Brad is on the horn. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Brad, are you with us?
I am.
What do you got for us, brother?
Well, this was the year after 9/11 happened, and my dad and I, we've always done fireworks. We've had lots of fireworks, but we didn't have any that year, so we did acetylene balloons. He was big into those. And we did a whole bunch of them, and we thought, well, let's put 2 in one bag. And it was a real windy day. My uncle next door was having a party, so we went over there, started lighting these off. And the wind blew one balloon out of a bag, and I was shoving it back in as my dad was walking up, and the static spark from the bag blew up the balloon. And
yeah, those static sparks. Yeah, people don't count that in very often, but it happens. No. It's a real thing. Ooh.
Yeah.
How bad was
that?
Yeah,
and it took the paper bag that it was in and wrapped it in a small toothpick, shoved them into my legs, and of course I had to run to the hospital. I went down to get my wife up. She was staying away from this. She was in the house when I walked in the house.
The smart one.
She's not going to run me. And
wait,
I eventually
she
made it
take
to
you
the
to the hospital
where I had to come up with a story because I didn't, being after 9/11, I didn't want them thinking I was making bombs at home.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Told them that we were just doing some acetylene welding, and the gas must have settled on the floor. But I spent 2 hours with them picking purple, yellow, and red rubber out of my legs. So. Also lost 30% of my hearing, and my dad being 10 foot away, his ears were bleeding. So.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah. And you were just doing these for fun?
Yeah.
For a good time? Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a price for fun sometimes.
Well, if you've never seen an acetylene balloon go off, it's a must.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I'm sure just a big flame ball, right?
Yep. It's a noise maker, but it's not going to tear anything apart, but it will blow your eardrums out.
Apparently so. I'm sorry that you are personally well aware of that fact. Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just reminded me, I was a kid, no acetylene balloon or even an M80, but I simply had a roll of caps that you would put in a cap gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it on the ground, and I just smacked it with a hammer.
I did the same thing with a baseball bat.
Yeah, and my left ear rang for days and days, and I finally had to go to my mom and go, my ear's ringing. I don't know what happened. And I never in a million years admitted what I had done. But everybody always goes, because my hearing is shot, and people are like, oh, it's all that music over the years. And I'm like, yeah, not really. I think it's more the caps and when I was 10. with the hammer that I just couldn't resist smashing it, blowing my ear out. Oops.
Yeah, that's what the 4th of July plays to, right? That just base primordial animal in us that just wants to destroy stuff. I don't know if these are actual homemade pictures of all the fingerless hands that are being, because you can obviously cop these off the internet pretty easily, but I like to believe that we have a lot of listeners out there, a lot of KQ folk that just didn't make it with all their fingers to the end destination, you know?
I tell you what, these comments on the Facebook page, there's a bunch of them, and I mean, I'm amazed a lot of these people are still with us. There's some brutal ones on here. I mean, like we said, a lot of it's fun, and then every now and again it's, oh, that's not so fun at all. That's a real mistake. It's good that some of these folks are still around. Went to the ER with a live mortar in his chest after an accident. Bomb squad had to come. Oh, what in the world? Wow. Yep. I was just reminded, I had a kid, a buddy of mine, his older brother was sent off to military school. I don't know if you ever heard that threat as a kid. I'll send you to military school. That was like something that was said in the 70s.
My dad was a drill sergeant. I grew up in military school.
Yeah. Well, no, trust me, as did we. That's not something my dad ever had to say. Right. But it was something you would hear people say. And there was a kid in our neighborhood. His name was, I don't know his real name, Booty. His nickname was Booty.
Yeah.
Booty Shelton, which now that I'm saying that, that's a Billy Bob Thornton character. Booty Shelton. It should be anyway. What was I saying? Booty Shelton did actually go off to military school after he lit an M80 at school and flushed it down the toilet.
Oh,
and it was a real M80, like a 70s M80. And when that thing went off, that toilet flew off the wall. I mean, he blew it right off the wall. The pipes exposed, water everywhere. That was straight to Virginia to military school.
Where they know how to apply that energy in a more constructive way.
They certainly did. 651-989-ROCK. Have we got another caller, Tony?
We do. We have a couple, Jim on one and Amy on two.
Jim, are you with us, brother?
I am.
All right. What do you got for us?
Well, I got the story of my mother's grandfather setting is north central Oklahoma in the 1930s, I would guess. And her grandfather was quite a character on this farm, little quarter section. And so he would do stuff like put a wash tub over his head so he could stand out in a hailstorm and experience, golf ball and baseball size hail.
I might be
but anyway, one 4th of July, he's throwing what they called back then silver salutes, which were the equivalent of M80s today, and throwing them off his porch. And he screwed up. And one of them went off in his hand and split his fingers wide open. So what does he do? There's nobody out here, right? We're in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, in the 30s. So, I mean, it wasn't like go down to the ER or anything like that. He sits down in a chair with a bucket of kerosene and sticks his hand down in it and holds it with the other hand just kind of supporting his forehead. Just trying to get it cleaned up. That's my story.
That's how you win a World War II, right there, with that generation.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, he was the guy that settled out there at this farm in the 1890s in the last Oklahoma land rush.
Okay,
he was
so
quite
he's
a
ahead of
character.
that generation,
I never knew him.
I know just enough about 1890s Oklahoma to know that was not where I would have been okay. that wouldn't have worked for me. There was not a moment in my life when that would have made sense.
Yeah, well, that's what they did. So,
yeah, sure.
Anyway, that's my story.
That's a great one, Jim. Wow. Thanks for taking the time. See ya.
All right.
Holy smokes.
Tough as nails.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Amy is on the KQ Talk and text line. Amy, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you got for us?
Well, I called earlier and I got dropped, but...
Cripes.
Yeah, our neighbors, it was a couple of years ago. My sister and I live alone, and they partied all day. If you've ever witnessed a Mexican family throwing 4th of July party, they had the band, the mariachis, and drank all day long. Mm-hmm. And then they went to tequila about 8.
Nice.
And the kids were sleeping, and they started lighting off fireworks. Well, before the guy that lives there moved all his toys into our backyard, like his four-wheelers and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wouldn't be near the fireworks. Well, smartest thing he did, except when he was lighting off fireworks, one of the rockets fell over and blew up one of the four-wheelers.
Did it set another one of the four-wheelers on fire?
Yeah.
Oh, but I hope not the pickup. Was the pickup
tried to
okay?
put it out with water, which is the stupidest thing.
That is dumb.
And we had our little kitchen extinguishers.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Dumbasses.
Yeah.
Because it's in your yard. Yeah, right.
Oh, it sounds... And at first you're thinking, oh, my God, that's hilarious. And then you realize, yeah, it's your yard.
Jesus Christ, my trees are going up.
Yeah. All right. Amy, thanks for the call. And thanks for the calls, actually.
Yeah,
and for the... what do you call that? A reprise? A reprise? How do we pronounce that? Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's fun.
Wow.
Should have her call in the next segment.
Dumbasses.
I don't know. I thought the second story had a little more flair.
It was more into the point, more efficient. Yeah, definitely a delivery that was a little quicker. Oh my goodness gracious, that was fantastic. Here we go. My brother and I were on the shore of Lake Superior. Many people gather to watch public fireworks across the bay at dusk. We had those 3-foot sparklers lit. We were waving them around. That's when my brother thought it would be fun to throw his in the air.
Yes.
The sparkler landed in the back seat of a convertible that had its top down. The owner and his wife were in the front seat. Ooh. They were not impressed.
Come on, it's the 4th of July. Where's your spirit at?
An 11-year-old kid with a 3-foot sparkler? What could go wrong? Nothing.
I love it. Oh, here's one from Dell. His brother and he used to spend winter evenings building plastic model airplanes and hot rods and army tanks. Then on the 4th, they'd blow them up in firecracker demolition derbies. My brother and I used to do the same thing.
We did that too.
Yeah,
blow up
always.
the models.
Sure. I was doing it.
Hey man, we ran like a piece of twine or from a second story window, and we would run it down into the yard, attach it to a tree at the far end, and then rig up our airplanes to try to fly. We would. I'm trying to remember how we actually attached them to the string, but we would set a model airplane out the window, and it would look like it was flying across the front yard on this string, and then. But attach a firework to it, so in mid-flight, it would blow up as if it had been hit by anti-aircraft flak. And to get it done just right, it would be 4 hours of trial and error. I mean, it would take forever just to finally get one to explode. And then we would celebrate, and then at the end of it, we were like, well, we lost our B-17 now. Like, damn. Why did we blow up our model plane? But, again, this was the 70s. We didn't have Netflix. Fireworks malfeasance 651-989-ROCK. Hit us up the talk or text line. We'll take either. And of course, the Facebook page is filled with comments as well. We'll get back into this momentarily. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Tuesday, July the 2nd. Good morning. As it is the week of the 4th of July, we've been talking a lot about firecrackers, fireworks, and the proper and both improper way that we have used these. Things we've gotten ourselves into over the years. And those of us who are still around and able to dial phones and use our fingers are happy to share our stories. And I believe on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK, if you want to get in there with a story, feel free to call in. We've got a couple people waiting to share stories with us. Wally, I believe, is on the KQ Talk and Text line. Wally, good morning.
Good morning, crew.
What do you got for us, brother?
I got a couple of quick ones for you. So the first one was growing up, my dad thought Missouri had the best fireworks. So we would make a trek down to Missouri, Eagleville, Missouri. It's like 10 miles in. So we go to, spend the morning. We wake up real early, pack cars, park car sandwiches. We get down there. And coming back, my dad was too tired to drive, he said. So I was 15. I had my learner's permit. So he decided what would be a good idea after this big fireworks run, our minivans loaded to the gills with fireworks, that he's going to change drivers with me being a 15-year-old permit holder. So he sets the cruise at 80, ripping down 35, and gets out of the driver's seat, and I come in from the back.
Oh, my God.
While my mom is sitting in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And, at the time, I thought this was the coolest thing ever, right? And now I tell my wife that, as parents ourselves looking back, and my wife's like, wow, we lived different lives growing up, didn't we? That seems a little out there. So then we get back home with all these fireworks, and my dad had to have this elaborate show. So he made this board. So you buy bottle rockets, they come in a gross, so 144 of them in a pack. And he wanted to be able to set off a half a pack at a time. So he meticulously drilled these holes in a piece of plywood. So he drilled about 72 holes in this board, and he wanted to be able to light them off all at once. So out in the front yard, he's got 72 bottle rockets set up and this little board. He goes to light them with a torch, with a blowtorch. And as he's lighting them, he's burning the stick off. So not only do they ignite, but the stick is now burned off. So now the bottle rocket is laying on the ground. So the first go-around of this little contraption he made sent 72 of these whizzing at us, and the house, and the cars, and everything. And that was the last time he used that contraption.
Your dad is a legend.
Yeah, my dad is a legend.
Is your dad still with us?
Oh, heck yeah. Yep. He just retired last year, and I would say the last year of his life has been the best year of his life so far.
Well, that's great. I mean, does he have big plans for Thursday?
I don't know, to be honest with you, but I've got big plans. I've got quite the horde. I grew up to follow my father's footsteps with the love of fireworks. So
all right.
I'm sure he'll end up at my house, and we'll be chasing kids around with fireworks too.
That sounds awesome. Mike, thank you so much for the call.
Right on, brother.
I got to tell you, when Mike said, cruise control set at 80, and he says, come on, switch seats, I thought that story was going to turn into, and I still miss him to this day. I thought Mike was about to be the only survivor of a horrible accident where all the fireworks exploded. But no, just another day in the family.
Yeah.
Just a minivan packed to the gills with fireworks. That's good living.
You don't have that 5 minutes to pull over and safely switch seats.
Oh, my God, though. What are you kidding?
I wonder what they had in Missouri. They all come from China. But, maybe there's a particular buyer down there. Hey, the man knew what he liked, and he knew how to screw it up in the backyard. That's what I appreciate about him.
Apparently so. Monty, I believe, is on the horn right now. Monty, are you with us?
You bet I'm here.
Right on.
KQ guys, listen to you every morning up here in East Bethel.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
Anyway, I got a good one for you. Every time we have a big fireworks thing, of course, we have a big bonfire going, and we're blowing off 500-gram cakes, 200-gram cakes, and stuff like that. Well, once all the stuff's done, everybody sits around the bonfire. So what we start doing is all the cakes that we've blown off, we just start throwing in the fire to burn them up, get rid of the evidence. Well, one time what happened is somebody had one of those 500-gram cakes and threw it in the fire, and apparently the thing hadn't gone off, hadn't ignited everything. So we're sitting around the fire, and that box catches on fire, and the next thing you know, bam, stuff's blowing off all over the place, and people are falling off their chairs. And
sure,
yeah, it was just a total mess. Nobody got hurt or anything, but just tell people, definitely when if you're going to burn the stuff on a bonfire, make sure that the firework is all one up, because like I said, it's happened where it hadn't all ignited, and next thing you know, you throw it in the fire, and it's blowing up all over the place.
That's how it works. It's exactly how that works. Thank you for the call, brother.
You bet, you guys. Hey, everybody have a safe 4th of July. You guys take care.
See you.
Thank you.
That is the key. A safe 4th of July. What's the weather? What are we looking at in a couple days? Are we gonna have a sunny 4th? I haven't even paid attention.
I think there's slight chance of
60% chance for rain right now on Thursday on the 4th and 5th. However, that's over 48 hours out. Those things always change a little bit. Of course, it could get worse.
Well, if it is a cloudy day, if we don't have a good sunny day, then for all the people who are using beer to get a better, deeper tan, I would just say drink it instead of tanning with it. Surely you're aware of the fact that the new word on the street is that beer is a great way to help your tan. Social media posts left, right, and center saying, no, cheap beer, put it on your skin, get out in the sun, boom, that's going to give you the tan you're looking for.
Yeah, this released by Coors Light.
Yeah, apparently so. And if you're one of the people who's buying into this, I'm sorry to say that's not exactly right. In fact, that's far from right. The hops in the beer will not help you to tan faster. I'm sorry to say. Your body produces melanin naturally based off your skin type and your ethnicity. And a tan is your body's natural defense mechanism to protect against sun damage. So basically, long story short, A, you don't really want to be out there tanning a lot anyway. And B, beer is to be enjoyed as a beverage, not as a tanning solution. Just drink it. It's going to dry you out either way. It even dries your skin in context.
Yeah.
So if you put beer on your body and then sit in the sun, it dries your skin out more than just if it were the sun itself. Don't use beer as a tanning solution. It does not work.
There you come at us with science. I guess it could work, and if you drink it and pass out in the sun, you'll get a little tan there.
Sure. Well, you could. Well, and that's the thing too. The reason to drink is so that if you do pass out, you aren't as aware of the second-degree burns as you would be if you passed out and you were sober. Having gotten myself, having been sunburned on occasion a few times in my life, I can tell you that, the beer does help at least initially. Then it makes it worse. But yes, the initial response to the second-degree burns on your shoulders, another couple beers will help.
The red fruits, that's what I was always told.
Really?
By gals that like to tan, cherries, watermelons, other red fruits. What else is red?
I had no idea.
The seeds in it. I know it's probably bunk. What's that?
What, to consume or like apply?
Yeah. No, I think you have to consume them. You're supposed to eat those foods.
Right.
Like I said, probably bunk, but
probably
I've heard that from more than one person.
And so, as long as we're talking about summer, summer stock, just traditional summer tropes, a lot of us spend a lot of time at the grill. We're barbecuing like crazy throughout the summer.
Yeah.
5-Hour Energy. Not something I normally associate with barbecuing. 5-Hour Energy has now unveiled their own barbecue sauce. And yes, it is caffeinated. Caffeinated barbecue sauce.
Because you got the beer and then the heavy barbecued food.
Yeah.
I need a little pick-me-up. Let's just get it right there in the sauce.
They're giving it away, which tells you all you need to know. They're giving away 12-ounce bottles through their website, and they can't keep it in stock. There's only one flavor. It's called Peach Mango. So probably not for you. Each serving has 60 milligrams of caffeine. That's a weak cup of coffee. Like a can of Coke has 34 milligrams. An average cup of coffee has 95. Oh. The press release says we're going to redefine what 5-Hour Energy is and can be. A caffeinated barbecue sauce.
All right. Like a little more caffeine in there, but sounds a little bit like a PR stunt. Otherwise, I would never suggest that 5-Hour Energy would be guilty of a PR stunt. But
no, not at all.
Whatever gets the job done, I guess.
The first time I ever heard of 5-Hour Energy, I remember I was, this is many years ago now, and someone said, I had a 5-Hour Energy. And I said, what's that? And he goes, it's a little thing in a tiny bottle. You can get it at 7-Eleven. And I was, and this was a guy that would get on it. He was like a Lance Armstrong. He'd ride his bicycle for 100 miles at a time. And he said, I was out training, and I was offered one, and I drank it. And I said, how was it? And he goes, I thought my heart was going to blow out through my chest. I was like, oh, really? He goes, yeah. The last thing you need in the middle of a 100-mile race is that much of a jolt. I was like, all right, good to know.
Yeah, when they first came on the market some years ago, they would send cases over to the radio station. Probably they were advertising at the time. I don't think they are anymore. But I was heading out to Sturgis. So I just loaded a bunch up in the old pack on the motorcycle because you get a little tired out there. South Dakota, it's hot. You've been riding for a while. Same deal. I'd take one of those suckers and I'd feel like, the Tasmanian devil for about an hour.
Yeah.
And then I had to pull over and lay down in the ditch. I mean,
and then the crash.
The crash was hard.
Man.
Yeah, maybe they've refined it over the years. I'm not, poo-pooing it. I just don't do energy drinks very well. I get way too amped up.
Well, now when you're standing at the grill and the heat's starting to get you, you can just pull back that barbecue sauce. Just take a hit of the sauce right out of the bottle.
Hey, don't tell me you haven't before. Taking a little poke right out of the barbecue sauce bottle. I know I have. You get the good sauce. Everyone, just.
I have.
Yeah,
I have.
Sure, just a sip. Just a taste.
I've had a sip of barbecue sauce. I've had a sip of pickle juice. I've had a sip of ranch dressing. I've had a sip of everything.
Soy sauce.
Sure. Every now and again, you just find yourself going, I don't know, just take a sip of that. See what happens.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I mean, last night there was a what do you call it? A glass, and it had an ice cube, and what's it called? Oh, bourbon. And I thought I'll have a sip of that.
I'll just try. I just wonder what it'd be like if I just didn't let it sit there in the glass and actually drank it.
What could go wrong? I wonder if the caffeine is more or less or none at all. If there's any difference between just taking it out of the bottle or then heated, like you slather up those chicken pieces and then you put that hood down for 45, 60 minutes. And of course, you never lift the hood because you never lift the grill top because you can't do that, although I do it all the time. I can't not look at the food I'm grilling. I wonder if it's maybe it's heat activated caffeine. That'd be something.
Those caffeine molecules super ignite like
That's
that.
What I'm picturing.
Yeah, maybe
it's like a scene in Oppenheimer. We've got peak summer. The caffeine molecules in the barbecue sauce are at a point right now where the word fission is not an overstatement.
Now that's what a backyard barbecue party needs, or 4th of July party needs, the mushroom cloud.
Man, I tell you what, I don't have a grill in Minnesota. I don't have a grill handy. So I'm now that we're talking about it, I'm kind of like, man, I kind of want to stand here and be responsible for a bunch of over-dry chicken. I miss that.
Yeah, right. Really screwing it up.
Yeah. I always buy this chicken. But to me, it's all about just make sure there's some brats and hot dogs. You can't ruin those.
You can't. And the thing with chicken is everybody gets all chirpy. Everybody's there. Now, don't undercook. You can't, don't, for God's sakes, if the chicken is 2 degrees off from 165 in the center, you're going to kill everybody in the backyard. So I get a little, I'll just leave her on there for an extra couple of minutes and add more barbecue sauce.
It gets exactly. Just keep on doing that. And then I always have to, it blows my mind when someone will come up and go, you have that on the indirect heat, right? I'm like, hey, Johnny Weber, chill, okay? I have the brochure too, okay? I just chose not to read it. It's heat, it's chicken, it's going to get there eventually.
Don't make me use this wire brush on you.
I have 5 brothers. 2 of them are grill masters, and I appreciate it when I'm eating it, but I can't stand the experience of watching them run the grill because, man, do they love it and they take it very seriously.
And the guys that know what they're doing and the gals that know what they're doing around the grill, once you near them for some reason, I'm like, you just go do it, man. We're going to go over here and throw some, bocce ball or something, man. Yeah. Relax.
No, man, I'm over here with I've got unsupervised children with fireworks and lawn darts. You keep on the chicken. I'm going to see if I can't get someone in a lot of trouble over here.
Yeah.
Hey, check this out. The Eagles, as in the band, not the football team from Philadelphia, the Eagles are going to be at the Sphere in Las Vegas this fall. And you, and I mean you, could be there. You could win a trip for 2, of course, with your round-trip airfare, a stay at the Venetian Resort, Las Vegas, dinner, 2 tickets to the show, plus a VIP experience package. If you text the national keyword NEW to 95819 right now to enter for a chance to win, text NEW to 95819. Get on it. This is summer, which means it's summer festival season. Nothing better in the world than going out for a weekend-long festival and seeing a whole bunch of your favorite bands. Well, there is one thing better. It's when all your favorite bands cancel and you're left with a bunch of local bands. If you're confused, trust me, so are the people who are holding tickets to a festival that just really pulled the rug out from under them. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
Steve Gorman, this is the KQ Morning Show. It's Tuesday, July the 2nd. Good morning. Oh, the summer is a great time for music festivals. There are so many to choose from. It seems every year there are new entries into, the summer schedule. One that's been around for a while up in Walker, Minnesota, the Moondance Jam. They had quite a lineup scheduled. It was a $200 general admission ticket to see, among others, Creed, Switchfoot, Foghat, Kansas, Blue Oyster Cult, Sweet, a former singer for Journey, not named Steve Perry, is going to be appearing. A few national acts, as I just named, to go with a bunch of local artists. And yesterday, Moondance Jam announced, the national acts aren't coming. We had to cancel all of them. But the local bands are still on, and thanks for buying your tickets. We're going to still just hold the show, and we're not offering any refunds. At least not yet.
Yeah, well, they're going to get a little blowback on that. It's a good time. It's been a good time. We were associated with them for a lot of years, and the Below family. I don't know if they're still running it or not, but I know they just, in fact, it's the last couple of years I wondered if it was still around. I just wonder if it's a kind of getting the word out there thing as well.
Well, it is still the Belos. Kathy Belos said, we're working through ticket refund details. A lot of moving pieces we're trying to figure out. I can't really say much now. So it sounds like they're trying to figure out how to make this happen. I know it's a logistical nightmare. Every festival, like the big ones, Bonnaroo, Coachella, whatever one you're thinking of, it's not uncommon for major headliners occasionally to pull out, but you rarely see, all the biggest names on the bill are done. They just simply didn't sell enough tickets, I think is what's happening. And they realized, we can't pay all these artists, so we're going to have to send them on their way. It does seem like a pretty steep ticket price. I'm just saying for... there's nothing against the artists on the bill, but we are talking about a lot of bands. Foghat, Kansas, BOC, Sweet. Who's even in those bands? I mean, I'm sorry. Are they the actual band that we think they are? On top of it, $200 for the weekend just seems like a lot for a ticket. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just naive, but that seems like an awful lot for a bunch of bands that aren't exactly on top of the world right now.
Yeah. We're saying that about a lot of things these days, though, aren't we? Everything's prices of things are tending to skyrocket a little bit. You do get your camping with that for 3 days, and I know a lot of people, folks that have gone up there and probably never witnessed a band playing. They might be able to hear them, but there's a whole camping thing that happens out there as well. But you have to, that certainly must have contributed, and there's so much to do in Minnesota in the summer that you're competing against other tickets and other big events.
It does seem I know there were 2-day tickets at the there's another one coming up, the Yacht Club. It's got the Chili Peppers and Alanis Morissette and Joan Jett. I mean, that's like $255. So I don't know. This just seemed like pretty thick to me. $200 for that bill. But I like you said, you've known these folks. I imagine that it just takes a minute to figure out how to do that. It's a tough time. But it's now being billed as Camp Moondance. You do have Johnny O'Neill, the Mason-Dixon Line, cover bands playing. I mean, it's still probably going to be fine. It's just not at all what people were hoping to get, I guess, when they bought those tickets.
Oh, I'm sure. When you...
And of course, the granddaddy of them all, when it comes to summer music festivals, Woodstock, very famously featured Creedence Clearwater Revival, at least in real time. CCR showed up as they were just taking over. They were blowing up huge. John Fogerty still talks about the fact that when they arrived on site, they had no idea how big Woodstock was. I don't think anybody realized how big Woodstock was going to be, but he was as stunned as anybody to bring the band in. They show up in a little helicopter. They come over the hill, and suddenly seeing that entire crowd, they were blown away. And they landed, and Fogerty was very excited to have the band show up. And he said, we were hoping to do a spectacular set of this enormous crowd. Creedence was clearly on a rocket ship going straight up. The only problem was they went on after the Grateful Dead. If you think the Grateful Dead play a long time now, imagine them in the summer of '69 at Woodstock. Holy crap.
I was wondering where that was going. I was like, well, they had to be much bigger than the Dead at that time. But you're right. Yeah, the schedule, look when Jimi Hendrix played. Yeah, his fantastic set at 8 o'clock in the morning? The place was vacant.
Oh, yeah. The Grateful Dead... took the stage, and they played, and then they played some more, and then they continued to play. By the time CCR got on there, it was almost 1 a.m., and he said the crowd was just out. They're very much asleep. He was very disappointed with the response and with his band's performance. So it was all recorded, of course. It was all filmed, and Fogerty said, no, we don't want CCR on the album or in the film because it was such a bummer gig.
Yeah.
Their performance wasn't released in full until the 50th anniversary box set came out in 2019. The band was great; they were fine. His memory of it was it was a terrible gig, but that's just because the crowd wasn't giving them all the love he was hoping for. But they played perfectly fine. You put on their performance next to the rest of the record. Sounds great. CCR up there just doing their thing. But at the time, I can imagine there must have been a moment in time when everybody realized around the planet, like, wait, who's on the bill? The Dead? They can headline. Yeah. Let them go last. No, we'll play before them. Yeah, but you're Led Zeppelin. That's okay. Let the Dead go on after us. That's fine. We'll go first. Nobody wants to follow the Grateful Dead at a festival setting.
Well, if it makes them feel any better, the Dead probably didn't know how long they had played.
The Dead didn't know a lot of things. I don't think anybody in the Dead knew what state they were in, like literally or figuratively.
I remember going to my first Dead show was in Tempe, Arizona, of all places, and I didn't know, I'd heard Truckin', Casey Jones, a couple of the tunes.
Yeah.
But I was there for about a half hour. I'm like, is this still just one song? They're like, no, they're on their third song now. I'm like, oh, okay, just checking. Yeah, it just goes. But yeah, those Deadheads, they dig it. And hey, listen, I've seen 8, 9 Dead shows.
Sure.
I like going for the party. And it's not, we joke about the music a bit, but, I'm not sitting there going rah, rah, but it's a nice background to a fun festival atmosphere.
Sure. I saw the Dead the first time in 93. I was late to the dance, as they say. And I had been very Dead resistant in the 80s because the people I knew a couple of Deadheads in college, and I liked them, but I wouldn't have trusted them with a plant. You know what I mean? I was just like,
certain kind of plants.
Well,
yeah. I would have thrived. Yeah.
I have a cactus. I don't think you know how to water it once a month. I'm not trusting you. But when I finally saw the Dead, I remember very clearly everything about that night. Walking in, it was in Atlanta at the Omni, the old downtown arena, and the vibe in the room was overwhelming, and it was awesome. And I remember thinking, like, right as the show started, this is what I thought concerts would all be like when I was a kid. Like, as far as there was such a sense of a communal, everyone was on the same wavelength as soon as the music started. And of course, everyone's high as kites. I mean, myself included. But just like, whoa, this feeling in this room was like I'm on another planet now for a few hours. That part I really, really loved. The downside to me was Rosemary and I got down there, and they were in town for like a 3 or 4 night stand, and I was home. The Crows weren't on the road right then, and so I had called like that afternoon. I called our tour manager and I said, "Hey, can you call the promoter and get me Dead tickets tonight?" He said, "Sure." He called me back. He goes, your tickets are at Will Call. So we went down to Will Call before the show. I walk up. I gave my license. Girl hands me an envelope with not 2 tickets but 4 tickets. And I thought, oh, well, that's cool. I'm going to go over to that area where all the Deadheads without tickets are sitting in a field in the grass and in the mud, and they're all holding their finger up hoping for a miracle. I'm going to lay a ticket on a couple of Dead fans. That'll be awesome to do. That'll be a nice gesture. And I did just that. I walked over, and there was a young couple, and they were sitting down, and they were like holding each other, and they weren't crying, but they were doing some sort of mantra prayer, like, please, Lord Jerry, give us tickets. Please, Lord Jerry, give whatever they were saying. And I just held 2 tickets down. They saw the tickets. They grabbed them. They jumped up, didn't acknowledge me at all. Hugged, screamed, cried, freaked out, laughed, ran at like Usain Bolt speed to the door and walked right into the arena. And I was like, wow, we just made their year. We just gave them tickets. Yeah. Didn't occur to me at all that they'll be sitting right next to us. Last thing on my mind was I got 4 tickets in a row. go into the arena, and we go in there. And by the way, but here's the thing. No one's in their proper seat. Everyone's just close.
Yeah.
Everyone's just near their seat. So we had the 2 seats on the aisle, which I did tell the 2 people that were there. I go, hey, these are our seats. He goes, it's not how it works, man. And I said, that's how it works here. Move. Like, no, I'm standing here. Get the hell out of my way, dude.
Come on, haven't you heard when in Rome?
No, I need the aisle. I'm going to be on the aisle, dude. I need a quick egress if need be.
Man, who invited the square to the dead show?
Trust me, that was it. So, but we watched the whole first set, and it's great. We're on the aisle. Yeah. I'm on the aisle. Rosemary's in, and we really enjoyed it. And then the lights come up for the break between the 2 sets, and we're looking around, and we're just like, whoa, man, this is trippy. This is pretty happening. And I hear a scream from 3 or 4 rows in front of me. And I mean, it sounds like it's the scream that is like splitting the earth's core open. And I look down, and it's the guy I gave the ticket to, and he sees me and recognized me as his ticket benefactor. No. And he doesn't run into the aisle to run up to me. He just climbs over 3 seats. And he literally jumps into my arms.
Yes.
And I'm holding an adult man who smells like a shrimp boat.
You instantly have lice.
Yeah, I'm covered in lice. And he's a small guy, but he wraps himself around me like a child does. And he's like, oh my God. And then his girlfriend, she comes up the actual aisle slowly. Yeah. And then she wants to get in that. And I look I'm like, no, it's good. And I'm trying to get him off me. I'm not making any of this up. Rosemary will tell you this is entirely true. He would not pull himself off me. I had to go, dude, hey man, hey dude. And I'm jamming my thumbs into his armpits. Like, get off of me. And then he's like, you're the best man. And then they just wandered off, and I was like, now I smell like a shrimp boat. This is great.
Yeah, that's some stank. You probably had to throw that shirt away.
It was rough. And then they came out and they opened the second set with Box of Rain, and you would have thought the roof blew off the joint. Even I knew, like, oh my God, they're doing Box of Rain. It was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. Like I said, when you're going, it's not, if you're not a big deadhead, then, you get some music that's not going to drive you crazy. It's not like going to the Electric Forest, one of these raves where I'm like, this is not my thing. I'm feeling some anxiety. Yeah. But it's just, it's a whole scene. And every once in a while, I'll tell you what, they brought Bruce Hornsby with them once. I'm not a big Bruce Hornsby fan. I don't dislike his music. Mm-hmm. You're just not going to find it on my playlist. Yeah, fine musician, obviously a pianist. But they brought him along, and it was like, this is a bit sacrilegious to say, but it was like Preston with the Beatles. He just livened him. I mean, what he brought on stage with them was a lot of fun. So I'm with Dylan, of course, someone you may have crossed paths with, Joan Osborne. Mm-hmm. I was out with him for a show, and that was fantastic. So every once in a while they'll do that. But now what is the Dead doing? They did the Sphere thing. Who's left? Just a couple of the guys?
They've still got Sphere dates going on. Yeah, Bob Weir's still up there.
Weir.
You got Bob Weir and then Mickey Hart.
Sure.
If I had a coin toss for which drummer I'd keep, it wouldn't be Mickey, but he's still there. And then that might be it of the original guys. I mean, Phil Lesh is not playing bass. And Jerry is not dead. I don't care what anyone says. I don't believe it, but he's not there. I think it's just those 2.
Yeah, all right.
And John Mayer, of course, up there.
That's right.
Doing a pretty darn good Jerry. So better than I would have expected anyway. But they're still playing some shows at the Sphere now, and I imagine everybody's having a wonderful time, just like I did that night. As long as no one climbs on me, I can pretty much enjoy any kind of concert.
You realize the next KQ promotion you do, someone's going to climb on you now.
I tell you what, man, I wouldn't recommend it.
For a free koozie.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. As long as you're talking about hot, quick moments in social, in the, what am I trying to say? In the world, our currency, the shtick that we discuss. As long as I think we're at about minute 14 of Haktua Girl's 15 minutes of fame. But she has given an actual interview. She appeared on a podcast on Monday. This is a 21-year-old girl named Haley Welch who has gone very viral over the last 2 weeks. And again, 14 of her 15 minutes are probably expired, and that's just how that goes. I'm not trying to, I'm not giving her grief, but she did make an appearance on a podcast, and she cleared up an awful lot of things that had already been written about her. Apparently, nothing we knew was true. So we know nothing about this girl. Here's a little bit of her not hawk-tooing.
I'm actually going to just jump in here real quick, Steve. Let's run down what she's, because she just jumps in with an explanation. There was some talk that she had gone into seclusion out of embarrassment, even deleted all of her social media as a result of all this.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that she was a teacher. Nope, she was a bartender, we determined. And, of course, her dad, a preacher.
I deleted all my social media like 6 months ago due to like personal reasons. I never really got on it or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
But I was long gone before that.
Oh, so you were already gone from social media.
God. I worked in a spring factory. I'm not a school teacher.
That was my next question. So you weren't a teacher?
Or a bartender.
So I've heard rumors that your dad is a preacher?
My father is so far from a preacher. It's crazy. None of it's true at all.
Man,
none of it's true at all. She should have run with it. I mean, as long as you're getting famous from doing Haktua, she should have totally set up photos of her like in a classroom. People would have been trying to track down the school, see if the kids have been scarred.
Absolutely.
Right. Legendary folklore of some sort.
Yeah, the public, which is giving you your 15 minutes, already created a narrative for you. You didn't have, let it, the more that it's not about your real life, I think probably the better.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you got to give him that hawk to and spit on that thing. You get me?
I don't get you. I think you got to demonstrate.
Hawk to and spit on it.
Yeah, I bet she's like gas around the spring factory.
Convenient.
In my hometown in Kentucky, there's a spring factory. They make all the springs in all the Ford cars, which a car has a lot of springs in it, if you didn't know that. At least they used to.
Makes sense.
But I don't think that's the one she works in. She's a Tennessee girl, not a Kentucky girl, and there is a difference, damn it.
If you say so.
That's what they tell me anyway. Why don't we look back? On this day in 1903, the body of Ned Delahanty was found. Ed Delahanty is a Baseball Hall of Famer, and he had a pretty nice career, 101 career home runs, which in the 1890s was really good. Let's see. Also, he was only the second player in Major League history to hit 4 home runs in one game. His career batting average was .346. But he's most well known for the way he died on this day. He was on a train in New York State. He had 5 whiskeys and pulled out a straight razor and began threatening everyone on the train. The conductor threw him off. He said, "You're drunk, you're disorderly," threw him off at the next stop. The next stop was right near Niagara Falls, and Ed Delahanty walked out onto the International Railway Bridge and just dove off the side.
What the? I wonder if there was just a moment where he sobered up and right before he hit went, no, I'm just having a bad smack.
What a wild thing. They found him 2 weeks later at the bottom of Niagara Falls.
And he was okay.
He forgot to jump into a barrel. He just went barrel free. and that was it. But of all the baseball stories you hear about, that's one of the weirdest ones. I just obviously there's no footage. Again, this is 1903. But I want to see a guy with a straight razor threatening passengers, and aren't you a member of aren't you a baseball player? I'll tell you about baseball and the straight razor. Oh man, it would have been a pretty heady scene.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.